Oh, greetings, Becky. Here's your critique for projects 1 and 2. We'll start with project 2, the newest one. This one, like there's something interesting going on with the shapes and the arrangement of them, but they're really out of focus and fuzzy, and I find that kind of distracting. And I think that might be unfortunate because I kind of like the structure of this image. I like the shape it plays. I like how it reflects what's going on here, but it seems kind of just out of focus. The dog image, pretty good technical panning. I like how the tail is like this, and there's a nice texture to that. I think panning is good for this image because there's a lot of distracting stuff in the background, and the panning helps minimize that a little bit, makes it all blurry, and allows us to focus on the dogs. I think that works out pretty well. I think I'd actually want it just a little bit more blurry back here, just to simplify that a little bit more, so we can focus even more on the dog. That's not too bad. This image, I don't know, it seems all right. I don't find anything particularly dynamic about it. Little girl's cute, but there's like a hard flash on her, and I don't know. It's an okay image, but nothing really dynamic about it. Here, this image is in color, or I think more saturated color. Again, I kind of wish it was in focus. I think it works. It might be actually a little bit better in color because I like the contrast of this red and this like deep dark blue color, which is kind of interesting. But I really am at a loss. I don't really know what I'm looking at, and I think it helps with painting with light. If there's something I can grab onto that's objective, that I know what it is. So I like that image. I think this image was a little bit better in grayscale because in grayscale the shapes back here were a little less objective, and I can almost read them as mountains. It was kind of interesting. But it's okay. This one's a little underexposed, and like there's something that I really like how she is sitting in her posture and her arm. It seems really kind of contemplative for a small child. So I kind of like that, and I wish it was sharper, and just a little more exposure to it, a little more light let in. So either a longer shutter speed or a larger aperture or something like that would help this image quite a bit. I kind of like a little bit like the dark because it adds a little bit of mystery to it, but I don't like that her eyes just become these little black holes. And if I can get more information in there, I think it would help it quite a bit. But there is really, I think, something in her posturing, these little things leading up to her. And I'm not sure about the foreground. It might, this one maybe crop a little more, I don't know. I liked this image better in black and white. Just simplified the scene a little bit, and I was wanting to focus more on the dog, and the color makes it a little bit more difficult to focus on the dog than it was in black and white. So, all right, so pretty good technically. Work on this image. I think this one needs, or no, this actually needs work. This one is technically like you got it right, but the light is just so harsh, and that often happens with on-camera flash. With this photograph, if you would have had that flash go off, but then if you would have selected a slower shutter speed with that, like half a second or 1 second, you could have gotten more information here and softened the harshness of this light. And that's the big drawback with on-camera flash, it's quite often that light becomes really harsh, especially in low-light situations like that. So, okay, let's check out Project 1 here. In Project 1, I like this image quite a bit. I like all this verticality, it's vertical, and even in here it seems like it's broken up in these vertical things. And then the little, I don't know, Cupid pig, whatever it is. It's kind of creepy. I kind of like how it's gazing out there, and there's your reflection out there. So it creates this really interesting dynamic. Yeah, I like this photograph. The only thing I might try and change maybe a little bit is trying to get this in focus just a little teeny bit more. But I don't even know if that's really necessary. It might just be me just being nitpicky. But yeah, this one works out really nice. Nice. I like Jesus there. There's just a lot of interesting information, little symbols of stuff in here, and then your reflection, and it creates this nice juxtaposition. I like the structure of this image. I love this person right here kind of in my face, and this other person back here. But I really wish at least one of them was sharp, you know, either her or her being a little bit sharper, because overall the image just looks blurry, and it looks like you need to try another take and do this one again, you know, like Sally Mann would have done, and just do it over and over and over until she got it right. And maybe you did, but and maybe I just disagree with your selection. I don't know, but I want something sharp here. This image, I really like the structure of it. I'm trying to see if there's a, you know, this thing's like right in the middle, and it's the one objective thing, and everything else is out of focus. And it might be fine, but I might explore cropping a little bit just to get that subject off center a little bit. But I don't know if, you know, I keep trying to like crop it off here, and I don't think that helps, because I like how this little information helps balance this little information. And I'm like, maybe I could crop it off here, but I don't think so. I kind of like that space there off to the right of it. So it might be fine as it is, and my initial impression is very positive, and maybe it's one of those images that we don't need to throw that subject off center, because it does function that way. So, all right, we'll leave it at that. I like the quietness of this image. Like the portrait here is kind of dark, but I don't find that necessarily bad, because there's details here, but I like that there's the vertical tree here. There's, assuming that's you, could be someone else, and then there's this other tree, and there's this nice sort of rhythm. You know, we have this verticality, a big gap, vertical, small gap, and then we have, you know, it almost puts the emphasis. To me, it's like a little bit of irony, because people we think are important, being people ourselves, and so there you are, but you're somewhat dark, and then almost more emphasis on the landscape. You know, the landscape is like pretty far away, so I'm looking back here, and then I keep coming back to these forms and figures, and I like how you're balanced with the trees. I think that's actually really visually, it's almost like you're integrated in there, and I'm sort of a, you know, environmentally minded individual, so I kind of appreciate that sort of integration into that environment, and the emphasis on the landscape, but still having a figure there. So I like the photograph. Come on, Flickr. Oh, that's the end of it. Okay. All right. Well, there you go, Becky. I'd say overall good job. Technically, looks like you're working out. You know, still could explore and figure out some exposure issues, but I think overall compositionally, you know, things are working out, and composition is not usually a problem for the class. So job. We'll do another